We're about to start.
This is Director Deere also. Hi.
Hi there.
Perfect. All right, well, welcome everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to order. It is August the 18th. It's 12:31 in the afternoon. This is the Finance Administration Committee and special meeting of the Board of Directors of West Basin Municipal Water District. So with that, let's do a roll call, please. Mr. General Manager, E.J. Kaufman.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Director Tommy Favai.
Here.
Chairman Scott Houston. Director Desi Alvarez. Director Don Deere.
Here.
And Director Gloria Gray.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's see. Item 3, public comment. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to address the committee?
Mr. Chairman, we do not have any requests for public comment, though this meeting is being held both in person and virtually. If there's any member of the public that would like to speak, please indicate so by raising your virtual hand. And Mr. Chairman, I do not see any requests.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, item 4, presentations. It looks like we have 2. So EJ, if you'll go ahead and introduce the first presentation.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. We do have 2 presentations, both from our small community bank investment program. And for this presentation, I do plan to have Stephanie Clemente Finley introduce our guests for their presentations.
Thank you, EJ. Good afternoon, Chair and Committee. As part of West Basin's Small and Community Bank Investment Program, the district invests a portion of its overall portfolio with qualifying and small community banks that demonstrate a commitment to serving the communities within the West Basin service area. Under the district's administrative code, participating banks with qualifying investments levels are required to periodically report on their financial position, Community Investment Act rating, lending activity within West Basin service area, and their involvement in education, community outreach, and small and local business development. These community involvement reports are presented to the board annually. Today, we have representatives from 2 of our participating financial institutions to provide their annual updates to the Finance and Administration Committee. Sorry. Our first presenter is Julia Parton from Malaga Bank. She is the first Vice President and Business Development Manager. And that will be followed by Sabrina A. David, she is the Vice President and Senior Business Bank Relationship Manager with the First City Bank. And I will turn it over to Julia for the first presentation.
Put your film at the podium.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. Always enjoy coming to make the presentation, even though I feel like it's always the same, but trying to add more with all the support that we give to our community. So you can go to the next slide. Here's some highlights since March 31st. I'm not going to read all of them. We are at 1.4 billion. Proud to say we are at 28% total risk-based capital ratio, which is extremely impressive, I think. Our team does a great job. We have 5 full-service branches. We cover Palos Verdes, San Pedro, and Torrance areas. We have a loan center in Torrance as well. Go to the next slide. This is something that I'm very proud of, is our community service. It's what the heart of what we do at Malaga Bank, which has been around for 41 years, started by a local resident of Palos Verdes Estates. We have, again, reached the top 5-star rating for Bauer Financial. We were also again voted Reader's Choice Best Bank for 10 consecutive years. So that's always nice when somebody else can give us an acknowledgement of our work that we do in our community. Since 2024, we've started to collect our volunteer hours and how many organizations we support through volunteer or financial contributions, as well as the dollars. So with a team of 4 other managers and myself since 2024, this is since March, we've had 2,600 hours of volunteer work giving back to our community organizations. Go to the next slide. The Torrance Chamber also honored us this past couple months ago. The Torrance, the Small Business of the Year Award, and this award honors business with a longstanding commitment to support local businesses and strengthening the economic vitality of the Torrance community. We were really proud of this and honored to receive such an award. The next slide. This again, highlighting some of our community support. Harbor Interfaith Services that they have the small houses in Torrance and Redondo. We celebrated their 50th anniversary and support them annually. We also had a food drive supporting the El Camino College Foundation, to which we have a great partnership with, as well as area nonprofits that we provided food and toys. Each branch collects. They pick their organization of choice and collect and distribute the items to the organizations. Go to the next slide. So last year I included some testimonials from some organizations. This year I just wanted to let everyone know at the end of the year, we calculate all of the, most of the nonprofits that we support. So I included a list. It probably is missing a couple, but I think it's so nice that we give back either volunteer hours, financial support, board support. And again, we don't have a foundation like some of the larger banks. So this is not coming from foundation dollars. These are just coming from the bank's dollars to support. So very proud of that list. Go to the next slide. This year, we really stepped up our fraud education workshops, especially in Palos Verdes. We have a large population of older folks that we see every day, that are being frauds. The fraudsters are coming after them, and check writing, just scams, every scam you can think of. So we've started to present quarterly with our local law enforcement, Palos Verdes Estates PD, one of their detectives, Lomita Sheriff Station, Deputy Clotworthy. We've gone to the Association of Realtors and given a class there. So we're really stepping up our fraud education, is doing as many as we can. We also have classes for businesses to help with fraud mitigation tools, regardless of where they bank, just to help them be aware, stay safe, and try to eliminate a lot of this fraud that's happening every day. So something we're stepping up this year. Go to the next slide. So as I said, community is the heart of what we are all about. And so all of the senior managers and branch managers are involved in some aspect of volunteering. So even the president, I keep him on task that he has to stay committed to helping out. Our CFO, who's would love to start looking at retirement, but she's still very involved with Grand Vision Foundation. As you can see, I'm pretty involved in the community, whether it's Palos Verdes, Torrance, Rotary. I've been in Rotary for 30 years. Just love giving back. And so I found a great fit with Malaga Bank. So yeah, no, I do not have spare time. That's always what people ask. My 2 sons are grown. And so the one question I have from my husband every night is, or every morning is, are you home tonight? Because they know I'm gone. So, but I love giving back. It gives me more joy than I think the organization that I'm helping. The second page also includes our branch managers who I coach to, if you want to go to the next slide. I coach the branch managers to also get involved. So Anna is in Torrance, Andrea is in San Pedro, Helen is in PV, and Jacqueline is brand new to the bank and getting involved as well. So if we're not sitting on boards, we're helping out in committees and keeping very active in the community. You can go to the next slide. We have a CRA rating of outstanding per OCC. The next slide, I believe, is our lending within this service area for West Basin. And that is the conclusion of my presentation again for this year.
Well,
Thank you for having me.
thank you, Julia, for being here as always. And I'll just lead off by saying, we do value the partnership with Malaga Bank, and of course, I think most of us, at least on the board, let alone probably some of our other management people, know you because you've been so involved in the community. And a big part of the program is how West Basin invests some of our public dollars into banks. So I'll just lead off by saying how much, again, we value the partnership. Thank you. I'm glad we can continue it. And by the way, when we've had some adjustments we needed, you all have always stepped up. I appreciate that. And please tell your leadership how much we do appreciate that you help us when we want to make the adjustments, because there's not that many community banks left in our region where we can utilize this program. And I also want to say thank you because you do have the branches that are still in existence. We know a lot of them aren't these days for various reasons. So I think that's great. And then one or two more items really quick. One of them is, at the end of the day, this is about the money in the community. So I love when we see, how much investment is in the parts of the district we serve. And the breakdown is always quite fascinating to see how many loans are going out to our greater region. So I always like that. And I'm glad you brought up the fraud education thing because it's off the charts today. And sadly, we're hearing stories all the time. I was personally, thankfully, I've not been a victim yet. I've almost fallen a couple of times for some things, even through, some really realistic emails. I'm also on the LA County Commission for Older Adults. And obviously, as you mentioned, with the magnitude of seniors that we have in this county, this is probably one of the biggest issues that everyone's confronting. And it's scary, yeah, but it's also just sad. And so I'm glad that you all are working on that and with law enforcement partners. I actually think that that's something, maybe there's a way that each of us individually, let alone as others, how can we get the word out better? I think that's really lacking right now. So maybe that's something we can talk about offline.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's just needed right and left. So that being said, thank you again for everything. We do appreciate when you come down annually and give us a report. It's meaningful. And with that, I'm going to open up to my colleagues. So we've got Director Favalle is here. I can tell he wants to say something. So go ahead, Director.
Yeah, thank you, Director Houston. I just wanted to say thank you, Julia, for coming out, giving us the presentation, and thank you for you were the first company to actually reach out to me when I first got appointed to the board, and I really appreciate the friendship. And I don't know if I can do all those community hours that you do. That's a lot of community service. I thought I do a lot of community service, but that's an impressive portfolio, by the way.
Thank you.
But thank you for everything that you do for the community. And thank you to Malaga Bank for the partnership with West Basin.
You're welcome. Our pleasure.
Let's see, Director Gray, do you have any comments or questions for Julia?
Just thank you, Julia, for that report this morning, and I don't have any questions, but thank you so much for what you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Director Deere.
No questions, thank you.
Very good. EJ, would you like to add anything? I mean, you have a moment. You like that?
No, I would just simply say that the local community banking program is something that our board took, I think, great deal of leadership in. The thought and the process for selecting the banks, I think, has allowed us to evaluate where we could be the most effective and what we're doing with these banks. And again, you're starting to hear and see the examples of what these banks are doing in and around our communities. So it's a great win-win situation.
Thank you. And we appreciate the partnership as well. And we will be supporting the harvest,
Oh,
water harvest. So
Oh,
coming up
yeah.
and I will be there. So
Oh,
this
hold
year.
on. Yes, No, thank you. That is, as you know, our biggest event of the year.
Yes.
Mhm.
Which we love, and we do reach out to partners to support. So thank you for that,
Of
and
course.
we will look forward to seeing you there
Okay.
that day. And so I think that you are finished with your
Okay.
presentation.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so much,
much.
Julia. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, EJ. We have another presentation.
Yes.
I'll hand it back up to Sarah.
All right. So now I'd like to bring Sabrina A. David with City First Bank.
Very good. Hi, Sabrina.
Hey,
Welcome.
thank you. Thank you so much. That's a hard act to follow. So good afternoon, everyone. My
Good
name
afternoon.
is Sabrina David. I am with City First Bank, formerly known as Broadway Federal. I've been with the bank for 22 years. I'm in this role for 1 year. For the first 21 years, I was a part of our commercial lending division. So I'm really excited to be here and hopefully I'll be here again next year. This will be my first presentation to the board, and subsequently I have inherited your account and am very pleased to be here. So thank you so much. City First Bank was founded approximately 60 years ago. The purpose was because minorities could not get loans from other financial institutions. And so we've adopted banking with impact. We could look at the next screen. So who we are. We're a nationally chartered bank. We're focused on community building via our commercial financing, affordable housing developers, investors, nonprofit organizations, and small businesses. Next, please. What we do, we provide mission-driven financial solutions that fuel equity and opportunity in low to moderate income communities. Our lending solutions include multifamily affordable housing, nonprofit financing, small business financing, PACE lending, property assessed clean energy. And our why. To address the discrimination and disinvestment in low to moderate income and minority urban communities through economic justice. Our impact, which has grown a little since this was developed, here it says 1 billion, but we're actually at, I believe, 1.56 billion. 75% of that is deployed in mission-driven lending, which means it's in underserved communities and also minority borrowers. I won't go into all of this. It's a lot. You guys have the slide, I'm assuming, but everything we do pretty much is mission aligned, it's community focused, and it's place bias. So we have deep roots in obviously Los Angeles County, South LA, Long Beach, areas of such, and then also Washington, DC and the DMV area. We have, just to piggyback on that a little bit, we have 2 locations here, one near USC off of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Figueroa, another in Inglewood, and then we have a branch in Washington, DC. So our earned designations, as we are a CDFI, certified CDFI. We are a minority deposit institution. We're a public benefit corporation. We are a certified B Corp. We are also a global alliance for banking on values, and our CRA, our CRA is outstanding. Our shared values, we put our customers first. We think big, we model excellence, and we are one city first team. So by that, one city first team means one day I might be the janitor, one day I might be a teller, and one day I might be a banker. Nobody is above the throne. So we all put our hands together and we do what we need to do to make sure that our customers are serviced. We're a nationally chartered bank. We're focused on commercial lending to affordable housing developers and investors, not-for-profits and small businesses. So our customers, and I just named a couple because obviously we have many, but we do access to quality education. One in particular was an achievement prep. We funded $15 million to an achievement prep. It's a community-centered school that empowers students to excel as high-achieving scholars and influential leaders in high school, college, and beyond. It serves 321 scholars from pre-K through grade 5, with 84% of its scholars considered at risk in one of the Washington, D.C. charter schools with the highest percentage of at-risk students. Achievement Prep is a cornerstone for the local community where most scholars and their families reside, fostering deep connections with families and community members to drive collective success. Another was Los Baños Camarino Health Center. We provided a $10,500,000 loan to that facility, which is a federally qualified health center that is committed to improving the quality of life for communities across Merced County by delivering culturally competent, holistic, and patient-centered healthcare. They are the largest primary care provider in Madera County and the broader Central Valley region. Each year, it serves over 59,525 patients, of whom 89% of those patients are low income. So our path to economic mobility and prosperity and family wellness, we partner with a local organization to implement 2-generation cash transfer programs that will invest in the well-being and economic development of both parents and children in participating families. The program will provide 100 low to moderate income families facing insecurity with unconditional monthly cash payments of $1,000 over 2 years. Each participating parent will also receive $1,000 towards an IRA, an emergency savings account, financial empowerment coaching, and savings incentives to help them navigate the financial system and achieve their wealth building goals. In addition, each participating child will receive $1,000 towards a college savings account and an additional $1,000 towards Roth IRA. Each family will also receive a $25,000 children's trust account to support their children's professional, educational, and personal goals. I'll just kind of skim through these because I'm pretty sure most banks offer them, but the traditional deposit and business services, we have ICS and CDARS. I'll just skip through. Oh, thank you. Payments and receivables, ACH wires, mobile deposit, RDC, ACH origination, wires. I apologize. I did not know that the presentation would be like this, but I'll be ready next year, I promise. We'll skip past remote deposit also, because you all know that stuff. Risk and digital. As my colleague or my partner, my business partner over there mentioned, we are aware of all of the fraud that has been taking place. So they're just getting more and more sophisticated. So we've added Positive Pay, ACH Pay, and some other controls to our treasury management services to try to prevent some of those things. So it's Positive Pay with validation, ACH Pay. And if you don't mind, we just skip past all of that, including merchant services. I don't want to waste your time. We can go to my little notes that I took on the airplane. We have assets of $1.56 billion, deposits of $1.8 billion, and our total equity capital is $188.6 billion. lending over 1 billion over the past 5 years, 75% mission focused on affordable housing, small businesses, education and healthcare. I mentioned all of our certifications. Some of our community services include financial literacy. I just recently did one for some middle school children at a charter school. We're all encouraged, each employee is encouraged to go through like a tutorial so that we're providing the same message, but each of us, even the tellers, like from the top to the bottom, to learn this financial literacy program so that we can each choose an organization like that we're each individually passionate about. We're also partnered with the Children Defense Fund, the NAACP, Lamas, Para Los Niños, Fox Collegiate, Long Beach Poly Booster Club, Downtown Inglewood Association, Para Los Niños, all of which I'm intimately involved with. I also sit on the board with the House of Haven, and I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the Care Closet in Long Beach, who has successfully removed over 2 tons of trash along the Los Angeles riverbed. And if I could just go off script a little bit, it's not common I get misty about this part, my apologies, but it's not very common for someone in sales typically to work for an organization or a bank for 22 years. We tend to, kind of do the 5-10 year and then go on to the next thing. One of the reasons that I have been with the bank for so long, because I am the community that we speak of. I was a foster kid, and my first real job was at the bank, and they took a shot at me. They took a chance on me. And the things that I've learned about banking and about commercial lending, I learned at Broadway Federal Bank. And as a result, I've become a professional. I've become a vice president. I've sent my own child, single mother, I've sent my own child to college. And I literally just got off an airplane this morning, having dropped off my grandson to college. Our bank did that for me. They believed in me. They took a chance on me, and they invested in me. And there are several other colleagues of mine that they're currently doing the same thing. And I feel compelled to give back. So I have a mentor and I have a mentee within our organization, and I plan to die at my desk doing the same thing. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for doing business with us. We certainly appreciate you guys. And I'm literally in your backyard. I'm a Carson resident as well.
That's your director right there.
Hey,
Um,
awesome. Are there any questions for me?
Well, I want to say thank you so much for coming and presenting, and really appreciate it. And this is just part of what we do ask for the community banking partners, is to come at least once a year to give us a perspective from your side, and obviously to showcase how much you are embedded in the communities that we mutually serve. So and obviously our staff will work with you on something else in the future. What I would love to see next time around is definitely like what Julia showed us, the kind of loans that you do in zip codes in our district.
You got it.
Because we didn't used to do that, but a handful of years ago we did adjust that, because it was really amazing for each of the board members to see how much investment is in each of our divisions. And this is a pretty big district, right? Palos Verdes and over to Inglewood and Carson, Lawndale, Hawthorne, all the way up to Malibu and Topanga. I mean, we're kind of all over the west side of LA County. And as I mentioned earlier, sadly, community banks, there's just not as many of them around anymore. We make a conscious decision to continue this program with the few players that are left. And it's important to the board, as well as our policy, that we continue doing this. One of the things, if I recall, was with Broadway Federal, but I could be wrong, that they used to offer space sometimes for people to meet your branches or something.
We still
like that.
do. Yes, at our Inglewood branch, we do still have space after hours.
Yeah.
What we planned, Downtown Inglewood Association uses it frequently. We also held, there's an organization, I forgot the name of it, my apologies, but where we donated $2,500 for scholarship donations. And so we presented the awardees with those donations and had a celebration for them there as well. So yeah, we do quite often.
Nice. Because, on that note, because I've been on the board of a lot of nonprofits over the years too, and, it's so hard for all of us to ever find space or space that's free.
Yeah,
To
we
just
don't
have-
charge.
Yeah, so it's even those little things, they mean a lot. But lastly, kind of just say thank you for your personal story. That was incredible. Which I think goes back to what we're talking about, how we as a public agency, we're managing public dollars. This is not our personal, company or anything. And so, when that money goes out there and, trickles out into the community, but also allows people like you and others to have great lives and careers, that's what it's a circularity, a circular economy. And I think that's a big part of what this is about too.
Thank
So,
you.
There's plenty of big banks out there we could all do business with, but I'm so grateful that the conscious effort at West Basin to at least park some of our money, our resources with community banks.
As am I.
Yes.
And I actually have access to our lending pipeline, so I'm happy to forward that to you after the fact if you want to still see it. And I will be here next year, more prepared.
Oh, no, don't even worry about that. But thank you.
Thank
Um,
you.
So with that, I'm going to open up to my colleagues. So Director Favalle, Jeff, comments?
Yeah, I have a couple of things, but it's great to hear that you're from Carson. I'm a 53-year lifelong Carson resident.
15 years.
Yeah, okay, all right. I think I wanted to put a plug because, our staff does a great job when it comes to fundraising, for our Water Harvest Festival. And
I'm there.
yeah, okay,
So
all
I've
right.
submitted it already to our donations committee and I will definitely follow up.
Would love your consideration on that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your partnership with West Basin and just like what Director Houston mentioned, it's always good to have the banks to come out and give a presentation once a year and so forth, just to hear the good stuff that you're doing in the community and so forth. So thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, Director Gray. She's still on the line? Okay, she is no longer on the line, but she is an Inglewood resident, as you probably know. And the board member that represents Inglewood. And then is Director Deere on the line? Director Deere, did you have any comments or questions?
Just keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Great, well, thank you. Well, thank you so much, Sabrina, for being here, and we really appreciate it. And we look forward to continued partnership.
The pleasure is mine, and thank you so much for choosing us to keep people like me employed.
There you go. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks to you both. I appreciate it. So we will move on. Item 5 is our action calendar, EJ. So 5A is approval of minutes.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this item will be presented by Desiree Quintero, our Manager of Administration, Board Secretary, and this item begins on packet page 43.
Yes, thank you, EJ. Good afternoon, members of the committee and board. As EJ mentioned, approval of minutes can be found beginning on packet page 43. The minutes for the West Basin Municipal Water District Board of Directors meetings are an integral part of the public meeting process. Minutes provide a history of the actions taken at board meetings, which is informative not only for members of the public, but for other stakeholders as well. Minutes for the July 27th regular board meeting and the July 30th special board meeting have been attached for consideration and can be found beginning on packet page 45 and 50 respectively. With that, I would like to read the recommendation that the board approve the July 27th, 2026 regular board meeting and July 30th, 2026 special board meeting minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Desiree. So let's see, Director Favalle, any questions or comments on these minutes?
No questions, comments?
Director Deere, any questions on the minutes?
No,
Good. I do not. They look in order to me. So with that, I will recommend a yes of approval of the board meeting on Monday. So Director.
Yes.
Fine. Hers. You. Let's see, now we're gonna move on to 5B, approved sponsorship of fiscal year 2026-27 community outreach events. Got what, 1, 2, 3 on here. So EJ, if you'll go ahead and go through this presentation.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we do have Hazel Vasquez, our Deputy Board Secretary 2, here for the presentation. The item begins on packet page 52.
Thank you, EJ. Good afternoon, Director Houston, members of the committee and board. As EJ mentioned, this item begins on packet page 52, and there are 3 events for your consideration. Before I dive into those, just to give a quick update, as was mentioned at a previous committee meeting, we are now entering that election blackout period that our sponsorship policy requires. The blackout period now only applies to divisions 1 and 2, since per the policy, it does not apply to divisions in which the incumbent is unopposed. So all that to say that these 3 events that will be presented now all fall outside of that and are not in any way affected by the blackout period. So with that, the first event that I have for your consideration here, New Challenge Ministries are hosting the annual Black Tie Extravaganza on Saturday, September 12, 2026. At this time, President Deere recommends sponsoring the 10th annual Black Tie Extravaganza event for $2,500. And if approved, that sponsorship would grant West Basin a speaking opportunity, as well as an advertisement via logo placement with conservation messaging. We last sponsored this event in 2025, which was the first time we did so, and we did so for $2,500. And at that time, we received similar benefits to those mentioned here. The documents submitted for this request are included in attachment A, and you can find those beginning on packet page 55. Next up, the Kiwanis Club of El Segundo is hosting the annual Main Street Fair on Saturday, September 26, 2026. Director Houston recommends sponsoring the Main Street Fair for $1,000, and if approved, that would grant West Basin a booth at the event, as well as an advertisement via logo placement with conservation messaging. West Basin last sponsored this event in 2025, and we did so for $1,000, receiving similar benefits as those mentioned. The documents that the organizers have submitted for this year's request are included in attachment B, beginning on packet page 59. The third event here is for Grades of Green, who are hosting the annual Verde Gala 2026 on Thursday, October 15, 2026. Director Houston recommends sponsoring the Verde Gala 2026 for $1,000. And if approved, that sponsorship would grant West Basin an advertisement in the form of logo placement with conservation messaging. And that sponsorship would also include a couple tickets to the event, at least at this level. West Basin previously sponsored this event in 2023, so we haven't done so in a couple of years, but the last time we did so for $1,000, receiving similar benefits. The documents submitted for this request are included in attachment C, beginning on packet page 64. And then, as always, just keeping you updated on the status of the balance for this program. We currently have an available balance of $55,500 as shown in attachment D, beginning on packet page 73. And that's out of the $75,000 that were approved for this fiscal year budget. Approving the requests that I have just mentioned at the amounts that have been recommended by the directors, totaling $4,500, would leave a remaining balance of $51,000. With that, I will read the recommendation. Number 1, President Deere recommends that the board approve sponsorship of the New Challenge Ministries 10th annual Black Tie Extravaganza event on Saturday, September 12, 2026 for $2,500. Number 2, Director Houston recommends that the board approve sponsorship of the Kiwanis Club of El Segundo's 2026 Main Street Fair on Saturday, September 26, 2026 for $1,000. And number 3, Director Houston recommends that the board approve sponsorship of the Grades of Green Verde Gala 2026 on Thursday, October 15, 2026 for $1,000. With that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. Let's see, Director Tavares, any questions?
No questions.
Director Deere, any questions?
No questions.
Wonderful. Okay, I have no questions. I think they're all in order, so I would just recommend a yes for approval of the board meeting. Director Tavares, I know.
Yes.
Concurs. There we go. So thank you very much. See, next we will go to district sponsorships, which is item 5C as in cat. Consider fiscal year 2026-27 district sponsorship requests. EJ, there are two of them.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, for items C1 and C2, we do have Carla Hewitt, our executive assistant, here to present. And this item begins on packet page 74.
Thank you, EJ. Good afternoon, Chair Houston, directors, and everyone. Today I will present two district sponsorship requests, both of which you will likely find familiar. And to begin my presentation, just a quick recap of the intention behind the program: to build and strengthen those purposeful partnerships that help advance the district's mission, to keep industry stakeholders and members of the public informed about what we do, what we prioritize, and what lies ahead for the district, and to promote water conservation, water education, and the various district programs. And with that, I will begin talking about Moonlight on the Marsh. Moonlight on the Marsh is a fundraiser organized by Friends of the Bayona Wetlands to support restoration and educational programs that expand the wetland community. This year, it will be held at the Centerpoint Club in Playa Vista on Saturday, October 17th. And sponsorship opportunities are, as you see them on the screen and in your packets. There is no change from what we saw last year. So all the pricing points maintained at the same level, going from $25,000 at the wetlands level all the way to $1,500 at the Creek Crusader level, which is what the board has traditionally approved for this organization. Separately from sponsorship opportunities, there is also a chance to buy, as another form to contribute, ad space in the event's digital tribute journal. This is a different price list that you may find lower. However, it does not include other benefits that do come with the sponsorship, such as logo exposure and complimentary admission to the event. For reference, the cost of an individual ticket is $300. And as I mentioned, West Basin has typically sponsored this event in years prior at the Creek Crusader level. You may find additional information about the various packets beginning on page 77 of your packet, and on page 79 you may find a quick chart to compare how the various sponsorship levels relate to each other and what's included and what may not be included in the previous level and so on. And the next event is going to be the South Bay Workforce Investment Board's 31st annual awards ceremony, to be held on Friday, October 23rd at the Torrance Marriott South Bay Hotel. This awards ceremony is an annual event, as you may get a hint from the title, and the purpose is to recognize partners and customers, and also to fundraise to support the various youth programs, including the Inglewood and Hawthorne Teen Centers and the Blueprint for Workplace Success program. In the screen and also in page 75 of your agenda packet, you are going to see the various sponsorship levels. Mostly no change from last year. The one addition would be the bronze level, which is new and was not available in 2025. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. West Basin has previously sponsored this event through its community outreach sponsorship program. Last year, most recently for $3,500. I do want to note that in their request letter, the organization is asking West Basin for consideration of the platinum level at $5,000. So just relaying that request. And also for reference, admission to the event is priced at $250. Details on this year's event and the various sponsorship packages are included in attachment B, which you may find in pages 80 and 81 of your agenda packet. Moving on to fiscal impact, the board has previously approved 3 events for district sponsorship this year, leaving $45,650 available out of the sponsorship budget for this fiscal year on the district side. And for recommendation, I'm gonna read the two portions. Number one being that the board consider approving sponsorship of Friends of the Bayona Wetlands Moonlight on the Marsh fundraiser to be held on Saturday, October 17, 2026 at the Centerpoint Club in Playa Vista, and determine the appropriate sponsorship level. And number two, that the board consider approving sponsorship of the South Bay Workforce Investment Board's 31st Annual Award Ceremony to be held on Friday, October 23rd, 2026 at the Torrance Marriott South Bay, and determine the appropriate sponsorship level. And that concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions you may have.
Mr. Chairman,
Carl, thank you. Go ahead.
if you don't mind, I would just like to stress or add a couple of things. First and foremost, that the Bayona Wetlands and specifically the Moonlight on the Marsh event is something that West Basin has regularly been involved in. West Basin Municipal Water District as an agency serves on the Santa Monica Bay Restoration Commission, including the executive committee. And so our interactions and activities with this organization have been ongoing for many, many years. Secondly, I wanted to note when it comes to the South Bay Workforce Investment Board, West Basin has regularly contributed to this event under the community outreach event. But I want to point out a couple of changes that have happened over the last couple of years. First and foremost, West Basin has entered into several different agreements with the South Bay Workforce Investment Board to utilize their services whenever and wherever possible. We currently have an active intern here at West Basin Municipal Water District that we've obtained through the Workforce Investment Board. Secondly, West Basin worked with them in bringing them into our efforts on our MOU with Metropolitan Water District, along with the City of Carson, West Basin, and the South Bay Workforce Investment Board to do a community and workforce development program in the City of Carson, based specifically related to the Pure Water Southern California efforts. And so the activities with the South Bay Workforce Investment Board now cover portions of our service area throughout all 5 divisions. And that's the reality as far as why we're bringing this change up there. This is an organization, if you haven't had a chance to attend this event, it's a magnificent event. They've had it in several different parts of our service area. And this year, it'll be in the city of Torrance. But though it's in a portion that's either close to or adjacent to our service area. So I just want to bring that to your attention, and we're happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Wonderful. And before I forget, no, I really, really appreciate those words, EJ, and also thank you, Carla, for all the work on the presentations and so on and so forth. Let me just say, and by the way, in these we have to make a decision financially of how much we're going to suggest that the board sponsor. But here's actually I see in this write-up, and it did say what I suggested. So on the Moonlight on Marsh, the $1,500 is what I suggest, which I think is what we've done in the past. Usually it's the same or approximately the same benefit, if you will. And the Moonlight on the Marsh, but I mean the Friends of Bayona, they're a great organization. I've known about them before I was ever on this board, but if I'm not mistaken, Director Little was a big proponent of Friends. And so I personally made that part of my deal when I got on this board to continue to serve them, and we maintain great relationships. And oftentimes I think Director Gray and I tag team on it, quite frankly, but I just love that organization. So I'm all in to support them again this year at that level. And I know what EJ said is accurate. Secondarily, the WEB, which is also a great organization in the region. There's no doubt about it. And they've helped so many people. And usually it's been, I think, Director Gray who brings this to our attention. So I applaud her that she always does that. And I understand they're asking for a certain amount, but I would recommend we stay with the gold sponsorship, $3,500. I definitely appreciate the work they do, but just like everybody, we're watching our own contribution levels. But For those who are able, if those tickets are available, I highly encourage it. And it is a great, not just organization, but when you go, I mean, like everybody who's everybody in the South Bay, leadership is all there, because so many of the cities, college, we all work together. So definitely want to support them, in my opinion, $3,500 travel. So with that, I will open it up to my colleagues, Director Favalle, any comments or questions?
No
on those
comments.
two? None? Okay. Director Deere. Well, with that, you heard my recommendations, so you concur?
I concur.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. So with that, you have the information, and I did also just want to say both to Haza and Carla for all the work that's involved behind the scenes to process all of these. It's a lot, but they are important to the district. So I want to say thanks.
Thank you.
On the board. So you have that for recommendation of yes on those two items. Okay, now we have another action item here. I thought we were done. Okay, 5D is in dog, approved professional services agreement with, is it Doster? Doster. Or Doster. With Doster Leadership Solutions LLC for organizational development services. So EJ, if you could please introduce that item.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this item is a continuation of a conversation that we initiated during the discussions on the 2026-2027 fiscal year budget. Over the past couple of years, we've highlighted the work that Doster Leadership Solutions LLC has provided, not just West Basin leadership, but staff as far as training in the fields of DEI and A, as well as leadership. It was our hope, and what we presented to the board was a continuation of that effort. And so today we have this item. We have Elisa Macenas-Bedelio, our Manager of Human Resources, ready to present the item. It does begin on packet page 83, but as we move forward, I wanted to highlight there is an error in the memo that will be corrected before the board if it's the direction of the committee to move this forward. Within the recommendation, the dollar amount is included in the body of the memorandum, but it's not included within the recommendation. So we'll have staff present that item. But then in the end, I want to make sure that you're aware of the costs and really the value that will be provided to the agency. So with that, I'm happy to hand it off to Elisa.
Thank you, EJ. Good morning, Chairman Houston and members of the board. Again, as EJ mentioned, I'm presenting Agenda 5A on page 83. This item before the board is to authorize the general manager to enter into a professional service agreement with Doster Leadership Solutions LLC to continue organizational development, leadership coaching, and employee engagement services. So West Basin has partnered with Grant Doster over the past year on organizational development focused on DEIA principles, which is basically diversity, equity, inclusion, accountability, and belonging. Leadership development, team effectiveness, and workplace culture. The program has included in-person workshops, leadership coaching, assessments, and connect and learn sessions involving both staff and leadership. The training provides practical tools to improve communication, conflict resolution, active listening, change management, psychological safety, and working relationships across the departments. This program is intended to be an ongoing organizational development effort rather than a one-time training initiative. Continuing the program allows the district to build upon the work already completed and reinforce the concept and tools employees and leadership have been developing over the past year. The goal is to strengthen communications and collaboration, support employment, engagement, and retention, and maintain a respectful and high-performing workplace. With that, I prefer visuals. So on page 86, I do have a PowerPoint to give you more of a visual of what we are learning and what we are going to progress into the next fiscal year. As outlined in the board memo, West Basin has been working with Grant Doster over the past year on organizational development, leadership effectiveness, communication, and employee engagement. This presentation provides a brief overview of how we intend to build upon that work and what is included in the proposed scope of services. So we go to the next slide on page 87. This is the overall approach, which is a continued learning model that provides that moves employees and leadership from awareness to knowledge and ultimately to practical skills building. The focus builds on the inclusive and accountability of leadership, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging and accessibility, psychological safety and emotional intelligence, and team building, communications, accountability, conflict resolution, and managing change. The intent is not simply to provide training, but to give staff and leadership tools they can apply in their everyday working relationship. This supports the board's memo objective of strengthening communication, collaboration, and trust through the organization. Next slide, please, on page 88. So why do we continue on this investment? This slide provides the broader case for change and highlights the organizational benefits associated with engaged and psychological safe workplaces. For West Basin, the key takeaway is that an engaged workforce can contribute to better communication, stronger decision-making, innovation, and overall organization effectiveness. This is consistent with the district's goal for supporting employees' engagement and retention while reducing workplace misunderstanding and disengagement. Next page, or next slide, please, on page 89. Key points to consider. These are three important components to propose continuation. Momentum. We want to build upon the progress already made rather than stop and restart. Customization. The training is intended to address West Basin's specific organizational needs rather than provide generic off-the-shelf training. And lastly, team building. The focus is on creating a shared understanding among leadership and staff so that organizational strategies can be implemented more effectively. This is why staff views the proposed agreement as an organizational development rather than a series of individual training classes. Next slide, please. So what does it include? So this proposed program is an integrated learning approach with 6 primary components. Discovery and leadership focuses on groups and inclusive leadership development. 2, communications and connection, practical training and communication connectivity and real life conflict resolution, change and resilience, helping staff navigate organizational change while maintaining teamwork and cohesion, psychological safety, follow-up coaching and team coaching with the safety framework. All-call learning experience, organizational-wide learning opportunities designed to reinforce connection and accountability. And lastly, executive coaching supporting the leadership development. The important points of the board is that these components are intended to work together as a continuous learning process, from discovery to leadership development to team application and ultimate reinforcement of the behaviors being taught. Next slide, please. How this program works. So this slide illustrates how the different components are intended to work together over the course of the engagement. Rather than one annual training, there are opportunities throughout the program for leadership development, team training, coaching, communication exercises, conflict resolution, change management, and reinforcement. This ongoing reinforcement is important because the goal is to take the concepts learned in the training and apply them to actual workplace interactions and challenges. As noted in the board memo, this continual approach supports employee engagement, retention, and long-term organizational effectiveness. And next slide. In regards to our investment, the complete scope of the service has a value of $121,900. But Doster Learning Solution is providing a $26,500 bundle discount, resulting in a proposed district investment of $95,400. The $95,400 is included in the fiscal year 26-27 human resources budget and will be paid in installments. This investment covers the broader organizational development program, including workshops, team development, leadership development, coaching, and continued reinforcement rather than a single training event. So in conclusion, staff is recommending continuation of the partnership because we believe that we already established momentum and believe that there is value in continuing to reinforce the work that has begun. The proposed program is designed to provide both leadership and staff with practical tools to communicate more effectively, navigate conflict and change, strengthen work relationships, and ultimately support a more collaborative and effective organization. With that, staff recommends that the board authorize the general manager to enter into a professional service agreement with Doster Learning Solutions in the amount of $95,400. Funding, again, for these services are included in the fiscal year 26-27 Human Resources budget. As you can notice, next to me, I have blocks. These are the assessments that we have taken as a group, as a staff. There were 3 different assessments that we took, and each one depicts how we work with ourselves and how we're going to work with others. It also entails to inform other employees what is our safety nets, what are our conflict resolutions, and how is best way to approach us in any type of conversation in order to work cohesively. So everybody, if you walk around the building, everybody has blocks all over their table, but it does give an opportunity for staff to understand how to communicate with one another. And this is just obviously the building blocks to begin that process. So with Grant Doster and his training, he has started the basis, and we're just trying to build off that to make sure that we do, as a district, have a cohesive group and to have a better working relationship to build those relationships within the district. So with that said, if there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
And Mr. Chairman, if I could add, I want to point out that Grant Doster and his approach came to me highly recommended by the Water Replenishment District. Speaking with their general manager and staff, both current and past, every person I spoke to spoke not just highly of Mr. Doster, but also the approach that he took within their organization and the progress that they made. I can tell you that myself, participating in the previous efforts, I've been very impressed throughout it. I think that he has not just insight and techniques that are helpful to an organization like ours, but also you can tell that he's putting in the time to really understand who we are as people and who we are as an agency. I would note that I have included this effort as a expenditure under the GM authority when I provide the board of directors my quarterly updates, and so that you've been updated as far as the spending goes there. I wanted to bring this to your attention during the budget process because of the value that I believe that it has within our organization. And for those reasons, which we're happy to discuss further if you'd like, I highly support this action item. So with that, we're happy to answer any questions.
Very good. Well, thank you very much. Actually, I'll open it to Director for my first comment, question.
So I think, and thank you, Elise, for the presentation. I think this is very valuable to the employees on staff and like those building blocks there. Yeah. And I think it's great. I think every leadership solution educational part of this to help our West Basin staff, I think is great.
Director Gear, anything? Well, thank you, number one. I appreciate it. And number two, thanks for that explanation, EJ, because I was going to kind of ask, how did we find Mr. Doster? I do know this is budgeted, so that's really not issue here, right? My understanding, it's in our budget.
Yes, we made sure to highlight it and line item it in our budget discussions.
Yes. I'm just, for my own edification, the way he works or the way this works, is it in person? He comes in, does workshops, or how does this kind of work?
We did kind of depending on what this training is, we found best, especially from feedback from staff, to have him in person, to have that personal connection. Virtually, even for me, it's hard to do training virtually because you have so many different distractions. So when he does come in, he does do it in person, and we do it as a whole. We do not do little sessions. We do it as a whole, so everyone has an opportunity to hear each other's comments, feedbacks, input in regards to that training for that day. So everybody has the understanding how to move forward with one another. And there's not a disconnect as what did they say in the last session versus what they said in this session. Everybody's in the same room, so everybody gets the same message.
Got it. And then what's the cadence? I mean, how often these trainings happen?
So the ideal of, if you can go back to the slides, I believe it was probably the third slide, that one. So this is basically his kind of outline, his meaning Grant Doser's outline on how he perceives the next fiscal year. The ones on the bottom are kind of optional, but we are gonna, our intent is also ultimately to utilize everything he's put out there. He will most likely come out at least at minimum 3 times this fiscal year to provide training to staff. Some of it may be virtual, some of it may be one-on-ones with managers, and that could be virtual as well. But the main trainings that involve both leadership and staff will be done in person. So we do have him come out to provide that particular training. So, but it is going to be ongoing for the next fiscal year.
I think that one is, can you put any backups on this, EJ? It just says scope of workshops and training, but there's nothing behind the memo that tells us what he's offering or his price point. So I think that would be important just to include for the record. And then the other thing is, I mean, I do support this, and the board supports these efforts, and so we have to fund them. I'm glad that it seems to be working well. This will at least get us through the end of the fiscal year. Jay?
Yeah, I think, and I don't know who deserves the credit for this, but somebody described this effort as kind of a gym or even like a therapist process. Is you're never going to be done, right? If you want to excel and achieve your goals in the workplace, you're never going to be done. You're always going to be working. But I think that this is the lion's share of the bulk of the work. I think after this is kind of the smaller one-on-ones and fine tuning and looking to see where we are as an organization. And so yeah, this would be ultimately to get us through the fiscal year and get that bulk of the work completed and really kind of hit the reset button here at West Basin and within our workforce.
Yeah, and then obviously some people do come and go, so there'll be new folks once in a while who come in. Somehow they get plugged into his services. Okay.
He does kind of reiterate prior sessions so people can get up to speed on what's going on moving forward.
Okay. So
Just have one
go
last thing.
ahead.
Since they're negotiating with the ASME local, I would assume, EJ, that this would work out perfectly with the leadership from the union when it comes to ensuring that each employee has the tools to make them better employees, right? And that just helps the union on the union side, and then working in together with West Basin. So has this been brought up to the ASME?
No, they are, I mean, again, it's presented to all staff. And it's basically also on an individual level, how people take away from the training. Our intent is to help overall encompass everybody, not only the union, not only leadership, it's staff in general, how we communicate and relate to one another, regardless of status. So I believe this particular training for the district police, this particular training just helps staff in general, regardless of where we are. So the takeaways is by the individual, and hopefully what grant brings to the table, people walk away with something. As sometimes it's as little as just this much, but if you walk away with anything, that's still a win for us.
And it's important to note that, you know, I've met with Mr. Doser about our union and kind of the relationship and wanting to see that relationship flourish. One of the things that I value, he's lived it and walked it. From worked in Fortune 500 companies, worked with unions, has been a part of unions. And so I think that his insight has been truly valuable. And we've already talked about kind of the future of our working relationship once the MOU gets completed and how we can bring everybody together to really see not just what we need to do as part of the MOU, but what we can do.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Favalle. And yeah, I was thinking about it before he brought that up. I think a piece of this is, you know, we've already talked about the fact that the board has been committed to, you know, diversity, equity, inclusion, and all the things, you know, in the last handful of years. And of course, we know where that's kind of gone at this point in this country. But at the same time, the board continues to be committed to that. But also what you mentioned is, I think this seems to me like a bit of a value added benefit to West Basin. I mean, it's the board, oh yes, putting our money where our mouths are. When, you know, if we say we believe in something and we're committed to it, then we're going to offer the staff this extra service, if you will, because, you know, we wouldn't have to do this. I mean, we don't have to do this, you know, but we are making it on a commitment. We put it in the budget. So I'm fully supportive. Number one, I think what I would like to, and I don't know how we do this, but, you know, at some point, what would be good is some sort of a report back or a measurement. And I'm just talking out loud. I don't know how you do it, but to where we get some feedback on how did it better our workforce here. So I'm not sure how that works at the end of this. EJ,
Let's work on that. A, we could have our consultant come in, but B, we could talk a little bit about our efforts and the value of this effort. It takes a commitment. It takes a commitment from top to bottom and every which way. It's not easy to spend time with a consultant like this and really kind of talk about where you are as an agency and where you are as management and staff. So let us bring back more information and get you as part of the conversation.
Totally. And let's, you know, we can talk about it obviously offline, but it's just something at some point you can provide the board and where we hear some feedback, maybe even from staff or something. Maybe it's, you know, maybe it's anonymous or whatever. I don't care. But, you know, the point is, I think it'd be good for us to hear, like, hey, did you get something out of it? Did you take something away? I mean, personally, I would love it if I had a chance to participate. You know, I'm not saying you have to have the board participate. What I'm saying is, I think this is great. You know, I worked in different organizations over my career, and some of them are wonderful with professional development and some are not. And so I think that, you know, this is, you know, you all are fortunate to have this, you know, at your disposal, if you will, and I hope people take advantage of it. Because again, every workplace is different.
Yeah.
And so, but on the other side, I'd love to hear later, you know, how did it play out, EJ? Because obviously the contract's gonna end at some point and we have to figure out then what do we do, right? So a lot of decisions to be made, but I think Director Favalle is right as well. If you think about, you know, the workforce, union or non-union, you know, what are the benefits that we provide the agency, and you all are the ones that bring it to our attention. So it goes into our thinking for decisions. So that's my thoughts on this. With that, I would recommend a yes for approval by the board on the agenda for Monday.
Concur.
And EJ, does this go on consent?
Yes, with the consensus of the committee, yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So thank you for the great presentation and the information.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. And now I know we've taken longer than I would normally expect at this committee, but it's not a bad thing. But at the same time, I will help Crank it up. So we're gonna move into the information calendar. Item 6A is our monthly financial reports. EJ, if you'll please introduce that item.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, for this presentation, we have Jose Flores, our senior accountant, and this item begins on packet page 93.
Thank you, EJ. Good afternoon, members of the committee and board. As stated, I'll be going over the monthly financial reports as required by West Basin's administrative code. Staff is required to submit various financial reports to the board to keep them apprised of the financial condition and future needs of the district. I'll now begin on packet page 95 for the demands list. This is our demands list for the period ending July of 2026. The report ends on page 99. The total expenditures for the month was $41,146,130.23. Included in this total is our July Metropolitan bill, which was $13,119,069.69. This accounts for 32% of our total expenditures. In addition, there was a bond payment that was made to U.S. Bank totaling $17,333,425. Please let me know if there are any questions.
Any questions? I'll ask a question real quick. Right on the front page, you have this ACAM Consulting Engineers. The first checks 96848, but it says Construction Management District at South Bay. What does that mean? I see underneath there's two other items, but what is district at South Bay?
If you just give me one moment and I'll be able to give a little bit more of a clarification. It's a CIP related project.
I have a note here. It just says, their inspection services performed in April for the district as part of the South Bay project. Don't have too much detail besides that. But it's for the month of April. I can look into it and come back.
That'd be great. Yeah. If you guys just can email that to us, what exactly that means. I found something else at the moment, so let's go ahead and move on.
Okay. I'll move on to packet page 101, and we'll be presenting our cash and investments report for the period ending July 2026. Our total market value for the month was $87.8 million. As mentioned in our demands list, there was a bond payment of roughly $17 million. This payment was the primary reason for the significant reduction in our market value for the month of July. Turning to how the value breaks down, on the same page, you can see a pie chart that shows our portfolio diversity and the different investments that we carry. On the following page, page 102, you'll see our credit quality distribution graphs. You can see here that 66% of our securities are rated AAA. On the next page, this page represents our maturity distribution. You can see here that the majority of our investments are highly liquid. On the next page, you'll see security acquisitions and dispositions for the month of July. In the acquisition section, you can see there was a renewal for the $250,000 City First certificate of deposit and a renewal for the $750,000 Malaga Bank CDARS, both of which will be maturing in July of 2027. From packet pages 105 to 115, there's a detailed listing of our investment holdings. This concludes the cash and investment report. Does the board have any questions? If there are no questions, we can move on to our monthly water sales report on page 116. For the month of July, potable water sales was 8,113 acre feet, which was 174 acre feet higher than budget and 42 acre feet lower than last year. The bottom portion shows imported barrier was 139 acre feet for July, of which Dominguez was 238 and West Coast was 81. On the next page, we have our recycled water sales for the month at 3,467, which was 290 higher than budget and 747 higher than last year. The table below shows the breakdown of our recycled water. Barrier was 1,139, refineries were 1,823, and disinfected tertiary was 505. That concludes our water sales for the month. Are there any questions?
Let me just ask, so on that recycled water sales, I mean, that was off the charts all of a sudden, so what?
I'm about to jump out of my seat.
So what?
I'm too excited.
No one's asking questions, that's a bad thing.
I want to see that chart extended
What
above.
what is going on with that?
We are, hitting our stride. You've seen it over the past 6 months. I mention it every month, not just here in the F&A committee, but also our E&O committee. I'm very proud of the work that we're doing. This is a widespread effort amongst our engineering ops staff, working in concert with our operators, really focused in on our key performance indicators and the objectives outlined in the scope of work. It's a very focused effort to basically attack the big issues and make sure that we're maximizing production. And Mr. Chairman, we've had conversations about this. As we focus in on those big significant issues, there are small little matters that we now need to fine tune and start to focus in on and achieve those as well. But we've seen this significant improvement what we're trying to accomplish at ECL, and these numbers for the past now 7 months are showing that we are where we want to be. And now what we need to do is kind of take a step back. And highlight the major milestones and the productivity, but now start to fine tune it so that we're working on the small things as well.
This is great. Any comments, questions? No. Okay. Real quick, EJ, do you know where this particular spike of water went? I mean, where?
Yeah, it's primarily the barrier. Yeah, we've been over the past several years, we've been utilizing a great deal of imported water at the barrier. Our production levels were down, and don't forget at the first part of last year, we had the county's barrier was down, so we weren't even able to serve recycled water there. So as long as the barrier is being operated and allowing us to maximize recycled water to the barrier, we're seeing that production is there. And you can really see that as far as our imported water sales go to both barriers. WRD, the county, West Basin, it's a concerted effort by all three parties to maximize the use of recycled water there.
Well, that's great. Thank you for that. And I was just gonna say, I'm trying to think in the bigger picture, so we have more months we'll keep tracking. I think there's something to be said for, tooting our own horn about this type of stuff. Sometimes people don't understand what quote unquote water sales means. I mean, obviously that is what helps fund what we all do, but recycled water is a good sale, if you will. And if I'm not mistaken, EJ, I mean, look, this water, for the most part, it is needed in our district. So whether we're giving them potable or giving them recycled, they need this particular molecule of water. So I suppose on the backside for us, if we're saying the good news is we were able to provide recycled water instead of the very valuable and scarce potable water coming from somewhere else, right?
Completely on point, correct. The groundwater basin below us is 100% sustainable if properly managed. Mm-hmm. And a lot of attention in the state of California goes towards unhealthy or poorly managed groundwater basins. We have a truly, it's a partnership with all these different organizations and our retailers to maximize the use of recycled water there, and you're seeing that. And we're going to maintain it as long as we can produce that recycled water and deliver to our other customers, meet our contractual obligations. Our goal is to maximize the use of recycled water at the barrier. And hopefully we're going to exceed our budget for the first time in this fiscal year for quite a while. So that we're on great great track record as far as the last 7 months.
Good, good, okay. Well, all that said, as we are tracking it and down the road, I'm thinking ahead as to how we will articulate that, you know, on the back end to our constituents, you know, about what this means. And it does mean is using recycled water versus, you know, imported water. And yes, we can use groundwater in certain cases, but we gotta replenish it, which we can use recycled for. So I think you already know where I'm going with this, you guys. So you know, we're gonna figure out a way of how we articulate that at some point to the broader public. I'm so proud of this agency and what we do. So all that to be said, you're not quite done yet, are you? I think.
No, not yet.
Sorry.
Not for that.
Let's finish it up. But thank you for that. That was good news. Go ahead.
All right, with that, I'll move on to packet page 118.
Right.
You'll see here the Directors Conference and Travel Expense Report through July 2026. The annual budget is $75,000. Of that amount, we have expensed $8,049.40, leaving a remaining balance of $66,950.60. On the following page, packet page 119, we have our executive management and staff travel expense report through July 2026. The annual budget is $126,250. Of that total, we have expensed $79.39, leaving a remaining balance of $126,170.61. Please let me know if there are any questions.
Very good. Let's see, I have no questions. So that we will go on. Is there another item here? Am I just got my stuff out of order?
Yes, there's another
There is
item.
another item. It is. Okay, 6B. Okay, all right. All right.
So if there are no questions, I'll hand this over to Stephanie Soto for the annual disclosure of reimbursements.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chairman Houston, members of the board and members of the committee. I'm here to present the information on the district's annual disclosure of reimbursements for the fiscal year 26. This can be found on packet page 120. It should be item 6B. The memo shares a brief summary and background of why we have to disclose the report. Per California Government Code, the district shall at least annually disclose any reimbursement of at least $100 for each individual charge for services or products received. The finance team has reviewed all of staff and directors' reimbursements for the fiscal year and have identified the reimbursements where the single charge exceeds the $100 threshold. You will find this list as attachment A in your board packet, page 121. This concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Very good. Thank you. I don't have it. EJ, isn't this is a law that they
Correct.
made not too long ago, Eric.
You know?
I don't know what year, but
Yeah.
we've done it for a couple years.
Perfect, yeah. So anything over $100 or something like that.
Yes, in a single transaction.
What that is to a degree, but anyway, with that, I don't have any other questions. So I see Director Favalle came in and we were wrapping up, Director. So we have no closed session. Director's comments or future agenda items. Director Favalle, any?
I just wanted to say thank you, Steph, for all the hard work that you do. It's always great to see a lot of the great items that's come in front of us that we can, move forward to the board. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. And then Director Deere, any comments?
Just congratulate staff for a fine job that they always do. And I've got to go to a medical appointment soon now, so I got to cut off pretty soon here.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Director Deere, Mr. President. And last but not least, I just want to concur. Thank you so much to staff. Thank you for the good reports and taking in our feedback and our comments and questions. So we have our orders for Monday. Hopefully the board meeting is coming up already. Appreciate that. Our next scheduled meeting of this committee is on September the 15th of 2026. With that, we're adjourned. Thank you.